the open board meeting of Tuesday, October the 2nd, 2018 to order. I'd like to add, first of all, say, I squale siem na sia. We respectfully acknowledge that we are meeting on the traditional and ancestral lands of the Coast Salish people where we live, learn, and play. Moving to adoption of the agenda. Before we move, could I add one item under 12B? And that would be feedback, BCSTA. Thank you. And adoption of the agenda, Trustee Schmidt and Trustee Hutchins. All those in favor? Motion carries. Moving to minutes. Minutes of September 4th, 2018, open board meeting. Moved by Trustee DeGroot, seconded by Trustee Doman. All those in favor? Motion carries. Moving to item B, minutes of September 13th, 2018, special open board meeting. Moved by Trustee Schmidt, seconded by Trustee Thorne. All those in favor? Motion carries. Moving to item C, minutes of September 27th, 2018, special open board meeting. Moved by Trustee Dolan, seconded by Trustee Croft. All those in favor? Motion carries. While you don't see anything under recognition and delegations, we do have at least one major item of recognition and a second minor one. And I'll start with the minor one, which is a recognition to the last meeting of this board of their term. And I just want to express congratulations and thanks to all of you for a term well done. And the major recognition is to one of those members who is not returning to work with us. Not running again, that's right. And so, Trustee Schmidt,
thank you.
We have something to offer you. And thank you. And before you get to take it, Trustee DeGroot has a few words.
I do. I asked if I could say the few words today because we kind of spent a lot of time together and a lot of in my car.
Yes, we did.
And we spent many hours together attending BCPC
Yes.
over about 2.5, 3 years. And some of those meetings, getting there was an event, as MapQuest directions weren't always as accurate as we would like. One-way streets were not always noted. Times that you can turn here that you can't turn other times. We spent a lot of time laughing.
Cool hotels.
Yes, we did. One memorable ferry trip where the wind was so bad, the staff was covering the windows.
Titanic.
And so somebody said, "Sir, could you please tell us why you're covering the windows?" And the crewman said, "Well, we're going to start some movies, and we're going to start with the Titanic." Now, people are freaking out already because the boat's doing this.
Or the perfect storm.
Yes, that's kind of funny. We took many training sessions together, negotiations being one of them. And can you ever forget the Bob Harper skit?
Never. Burned in my brain.
Can you ever forget the course on anger management? Keeping the conversation in the front of your brain. And how we used to use this to keep each other calm. At more than one board meeting, and although you modified it once, and I won't make the gesture because the camera's on, but you know what I'm talking about.
Something with my glasses.
Oh yes, that was it. You have been a wonderful trustee, passionate and caring, and I know you have a huge number of committees and organizations that you are or soon will be involved with, and they will be well served by you, and we will miss you.
Thank you.
So, Trustee Schmidt, just on behalf of the board, we will miss you. We will miss your insight, your fight, and your humor. We will definitely miss you. You have made a difference, and we want to thank you for that. Right. And a few words, Trustee Schmidt?
No. Not yet, but it will be.
That's soon.
Madam Chair,
Trustee Thorne.
I have some major concerns with Trustee Schmidt leaving because I don't know what's going to happen to Trustee Croft now.
Nobody can back
Someone will step up, I'm sure. Okay, moving on to item 5, report of closed meeting. Mr. Sedgwick, please.
Thank you. The board met in closed session prior to this meeting. There were multiple facility issues and a personnel item.
Thank you. Old business, A, action list. There are just a few things on page 13 that we are still working on. I'm not sure if anyone wishes to comment on those items.
Happy to, Madam Chair. World Teachers Day, just to remind everyone, is the 5th of October, this Friday. And if you have not connected between senior staff member and trustee partner for deliveries, please do so before we head out. Cowichan Valley Schools Heritage Society correspondence. We are arranging a meeting with myself and Secretary Treasurer and that organization to discuss their ask of the board around archiving historical materials.
Thank you. And the last item I just mentioned that I have been waiting for our new communications person to lead this development on the budget presentation. So I will be in contact with him. Thank you. Moving to Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Allen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. To begin with, I would like to, as foreshadowed by Board Chair, introduce our new communications manager, Mr. Mike Russell. I'm going to ask Mike to speak for himself, but while he's thinking about what he's going to say, I'm going to say something. Mike returns to Vancouver Island after a year in Edmonton with the Edmonton Police Service and 9 years with the Victoria Police Department. He was best known for his role as a social media officer and media spokesman, and he brings a decade of experience in both communication and engagement fields. And I think that engagement piece that Mike brings to us is its timing could not be better. So we look forward to Mike learning all about us as a community and as a school district. And we're just super excited to have Mike join the team. And Mike, you may want to embellish that introduction.
Yeah, that sounds like it was written by a communications professional right there.
I believe it was.
That was really good. So as the superintendent alluded to, my name is Mike Russell. I'm very grateful to be here, and so is my wife and 5 children. We're all excited to be returning to the island, especially the day that crate dropped for our packing to move here and snow started falling. September 17th. So very happy to be back here. Like the superintendent said, my big passion in life has always been community engagement, whether that has been formally as a job, working with Victoria Police or Edmonton Police, or informally through thousands of hours of volunteer activities, sitting on boards for nonprofits. I'm very passionate about that, and I'm glad I'm getting the opportunity to bring that here and work for the district. So thank you for having me.
Well, a warm welcome from the board for sure. Really appreciate that community engagement focus that you have, because that is something that the board has been interested in for a long time. And we've tried to do some of the engagement things, but with your support, maybe we'll be able to develop that to a much greater extent. So thank you for being here. Great.
And we already have a list of things for Mike to do, including writing his own welcome. Madam Chair and trustees, for my update, I want to bring you a few different things. First off, some numbers. As we last met in September on the opening day of school, other than we have lots of kids, we didn't have much more formal for you. So I can give you a few harder numbers after 1701 came in at the end of the month. However, it's still in a cleansing process. So take them with a slight grain of salt, but we're getting much closer. It appears that our FTE is sitting at 8,077 students, which is an increase of 220 FTE over projection, and an increase of 289 FTE September to September. It's a lot of kids. That's pretty exciting. We have, thanks to the Secretary Treasurer, a comparator of, and thank you to Trustee Hutchins for asking some good questions, a comparator that I thought I'd share with everyone from September 2014 when you came in to September 2018 as you moved into the election. We have increased by 814 students over that period of time. That's an increase of a little over 11% in 4 years. Most of that in the last 2. In terms of our students with special needs, level 1 has increased from 3 students in September of 2014 to 11 2018. That's a change of an increase of 8. That's, as Jason would tell me, 266.7% increase. It's a lot. It's a big shift. Level 2, we've increased by 155 students from 222 to 377. That's a 70% increase. And level 3, we've gone from 48 to 127 for a total of increase of 79 students, 164%. So lots of increase, and as you're aware, that means a lot of hard work on behalf of our staff. Many of those students have been here for a while, and it's catching up on some old business that needed to get caught up on. We have moved from, in 2014, 419 teachers, FTE, to 512 currently. That's 94 teachers. We've gone up, and again, a bulk of that in the last 2 years. That's a 22% increase in teachers. Support staff, 313 to 375, 60, which is a total of 61, so that's just about 20%. And classroom teachers, we're sitting at 381 right now, FTE, and we, in 2014, in September, we were at 305, so it's a 25% increase in classroom teachers. Send some of those that way. So that way. On the budget side of things, you can see some budget numbers there. Our operating budget has gone up by 15%. Special purpose grants have gone up by 159%. That's CEF. That's the Classroom Improvement Fund or Enhancement Fund primarily, and capital has also gone up by 3%. So we've gone from an $80 million budget to almost a $98 million budget in 4 years. I would predict that a year from now we're going to be tipping over. So that's pretty significant. We're no longer a small rural school district. We're something larger and more urban-y feeling. So 22% increase. In terms of a couple more fun facts for you, TTOCs, we're sitting, we anticipate by the end of next week, I reported to you in September, we are at about 135 TTOCs, highest number we've ever had. We've dropped about 10 because we've hired them, but interviews again, and we anticipate being at 135 to 140 by the end of next week again. So that's great news that they're still out there and still wanting to come. We added last in posting and filling our posting positions last year. We posted about 80 positions. We added Rona gave me a new number, another 60 positions. October, August, and September. Those aren't all full-time jobs, but significant hiring. And of those, 25 of teachers that fill those positions are new to us in the district. And many of those that came in, not this fall, but last spring, were brand new teachers to the profession. So we have a significantly shifted demographic during your tenure to a much younger demographic. And they're young and excited and pumped to be here. So some interesting numbers. Any questions on that? Okay, cool. Thought I'd update you on the event that happened on Monday, the non-instructional day that we had here on Monday. Had a great day. In the morning we brought teachers and EAs together in the theater. And we challenged all of our thinking, and I just thought I'd show you a couple of pieces of that. Maybe if you could go to the questions for the day. Gina? Yeah, thank you. So the big questions that we pondered for the morning were: who are our learners? What do we collectively believe about learning? And do our school plans align with our beliefs? Are our school plans visionary and transformative and aligning with our beliefs about learning? So we began with a conversation about who our learners were, and we brought student names of students into the room with us so that we can remember that we're thinking about students. We challenged ourselves with some interesting data, thank you, Gina, where we know that it's amazing to fathom that right now we have no idea how 3 out of every 5 6-year-olds will eventually make their living. So the kids in our kindergarten classes right now, we don't know how 60% of them are going to make their living. We don't have a clue, and yet they're going to spend 12 plus years with us as we prepare them for that. This notion, some interesting information comes out of the World Bank. The majority of workers will be freelance by 2027. Commented with our teachers, that's not necessarily our reality as educators, because we are so non-freelance. We actually are still in a profession that still is pretty bricks and mortar, and we work for a single employer, but most of the workers will not be in that. And we can see that crossover. So how we think about that. Think about how our people moving into those kinds of positions are way better at reskilling themselves. So teaching them how to learn is really, really important, because that's a hugely important skill that they're going to have. We talked about the social and emotional challenges in our schools. And when we asked this question, I think everybody in the room stood up. This comes to us from Pasi Sahlberg, but it's Alberta data in conjunction with the Harvard Medical School. This is what teachers are reporting in Alberta, and there's certainly congruence in the room with how we are feeling here. We talked about our EDI results in the district show increasing needs over time from the wave 2 to 2004 up to 2013, some significant increases in need. We talked about the fact that Cowichan has 31% of our students living in poverty in our district, and is either the highest or the second highest in urban poverty rates in the province. And we talked about how the kids are feeling. So this is what the kids are telling us in their survey results for our district. And on the one hand, they're reporting out that they are very happy with their school experiences. They like their schools, they like their teachers, but they're getting this unease that are we preparing them for the future, for the world of work, or the world of post-secondary education. You can see over time they are feeling increasing worry that they're not being adequately prepared. And so that got us to sharing some information about the kinds of things. We had a number of teachers get up and talk about their programs. I'll just mention them, we won't stop in. Boxing and esports, we've talked about that before. A PE program designed for students that spend 6 or more hours every day playing video games, and how this course has been designed around them. And to the point where it's doubled in size this year. In fact, the kids demanded a summer experience, and so they went in for 2 weeks over the summer and continued to participate in physical activity. Talked about some personalizing work going on with Rich Reddy. We sent the teachers on a walk, and we asked them a question: what are the qualities, what are the conditions that need to be in place for powerful learning? Then we came back from that walk. Teachers electronically entered their words, and We talked about 2 more examples. A great example from Orange Shirt Day. Sorry, Gina, I'm way ahead of you.
Getting that.
We had a presentation, and if you're we'll back it up. If you were at Grad at the lake, you saw a great conversation by Janice Tuba to the students. She was asked to speak to the students as an EA, so Janice brought an EA perspective about the power of student relationships forward. We had, if you back up one, Gina, example from Chemainus where students are on their own dancing and creating dance in response to Orange Shirt Day. That dance is actually being filmed on Friday for the provincial government for the ministry who are wanting to use it as an example of the kinds of work that's going on as we integrate Aboriginal worldviews and perspectives for all kids. The results of what the teachers, and this is a key piece for us that the teachers wanted to share, the next slide please Gina, is all the words that they put in about what they believe. So this is really a collective vision from teachers and EAs across our district. They did it in groups of 4. These are their words. We asked them for 4 words or 5 words each. These are all their words represented there. And it's amazing. It's exactly what we would hope to see. The larger the word, means the more responses that included that word. So choice was obviously a big word, passion, fun, engaging, relevant, flexible, and so on. So our teachers and EAs and principals and vice principals, this is a collective view of our beliefs about learning. These are the conditions that need to be present for powerful learning to happen. Then we pose the question to them about, do our schools represent that? How can we get more of that in our schools? What are other things we can collectively do to get to that, to get more of that in place? If that's what we believe, and had those great examples of how that is already happening throughout the valley. Our teachers and EAs are already working hard across our valley to provide those experiences. We connected in the Educated Citizen. It's been a key document for us, First People's Principles of Learning, key elements of effective learning environments, which is pivotal to the school learning plans, and a new piece thinking about big data and small data and how we know that big data is important, the algorithms and the analytics that's used to predict the future, it's machine processed. We can never ignore the collective professional wisdom that our people have, the tiny clues, the stuff that's in your gut that tells you what it is we need to do. That's all good data and evidence. And we concluded with a conversation about the difference between improvement, which is sort of fixing the potholes in the road, helps you drive over it, and transformation, which is how we help kids create their own futures and how we prepare them for that. Then teachers went in and staffs went into the afternoon conversations where they looked at their school learning plans and said, based on all the things we talked about in the morning and we've been working on for the last number of years, is that reflected in our school plans? And that, of course, is a lovely picture of the Aboriginal graduation year before last, canoeing into Captain Bay. So we had an excellent day on Monday, lots of positive feedback and comment, and interesting that when we made some comments like we have 99 students that have joined us this year from independent schools, there was huge cheers and a real sense of camaraderie and a little bit of competition amongst schools. It was a really cool thing to witness. So pretty awesome. Already talked about World Teachers Day. Would like to also comment on Orange Shirt Day we had on Friday. A few schools were recognizing the day today, or yesterday I should say. On Monday, and I have, very late, have about 9 pages to read to you from Rosanna, which I will not do, but unbelievable participation from Orange Shirt Day, and staff and students beginning to ask ourselves challenging questions, and that's super important. So we might put something together on Orange Shirt Day for a subsequent meeting. Also just like to put on your radar, DSAC is having their first event of the year, which is a grade 12 gathering on October the 10th. It's the first time we've attempted this, and it's coming at a request of DSAC, our District Student Advisory Council, and as Trustee Schmidt knows, they have been talking about this for a while. So we've had 2 planning meetings, another planning meeting on Thursday. On October the 10th, all the grade 12s will come together at VIU in the field behind VIU. It's co-sponsored by VIU. They are generously feeding and watering all the kids, all the grade 12s for us. They are providing some activities for them as well. The number one request from DSAC was bouncy castles for themselves. So we will have some bouncy activities for them to do, weather permitting. A chance to get together, a chance to get to know each other, which is the first time that's happened in this district in living memory. Many of our kids graduate through grade 12 and have never met from one school to another, unless they happen to be on the sports team. So I think it's a really cool day. They'll have a number of activities. The ITA is coming up. We'll have some tech stuff for them to do, but and a chance for them to eat. Primarily, it's an opportunity for them to mingle socially. So we're mixing them up into mixed groups, so they will be interacting together with kids from different schools. Big hats off to the DSAC kids who have been working this one hard. So should be an awesome event. If you're kicking around on October the 10th between 10:30 and 1:30, join the ruckus at VIU. You'll know where we are. And I think, Madam Chair, that is my very long report. Thank you for your bearing with me.
Thank you. Did you also want to go to item B here, Mill Bay Elementary?
Oh, of course, I just skated right by that. We will have a grand opening for Mill Bay Elementary on October 23rd. Details yet to come, but it's just sort of a place it in your calendar. And we're beginning to work with the school to figure out what that will look like. The school and the school community.
Great, thank you, Trustee Hutchins.
How many students are enrolled in now?
74.
Four.
And 4 more? 78. It's a growing concern.
Okay. Thank you, we look forward to the school opening.
Yes, we've had a birthing, but not an opening. So,
This is the baby shower.
Okay, thank you.
When was the last time we had a school opening?
Would have been a while back. Mr.
March
Sandquist?
2009. Crofton
Crofton
Elementary opened.
Thank you. So I assume we will have a tremendous news release
I'm
out to
hoping.
the community about how we want to engage with them at the new school opening. Thank you. All right, moving to item 8, Secretary Treasurer, Mr. Sandquist.
Thank you. Just one item. It's a reminder for the gallery and the viewers that there's an election on October 20th. There are 8 candidates running for 7 seats on the board. And that's my report.
Thank you. I think we're somewhat aware of your information. Thank you. Okay, moving to item 9, committees and outside organizations. Item A, DPAC. Moving to Trustee Croft. Or Trustee Schmidt.
Did you go?
No.
Nope.
That's you.
That the Board of Education School District 79 receives the minutes of the May 17th, 2018 DPAC meeting, so moved.
Thank you. Moved by Trustee Schmidt, seconded by Trustee Thorne. All those in favor? Motion carries. Moving to item B, summary of the advisory committee meeting. Trustee
That's
Croft.
I'd like to move that the Board of Education of School District 79, Cowichan Valley receives the summary of the September 18th, 2018 Advisory Committee meeting.
Thank you. Moved by Trustee Cross, seconded by Trustee Doman. All those in favor? Motion carries. Moving to upcoming meetings and events on page 21. It is reduced this month. And the Secretary Treasurer has slipped out the reason why. This is election month. Any comments on the schedule that's presented? Okay, moving on to correspondence, none. Moving to new business, A, Remembrance Day ceremonies, and just, oh, Mr. L? Oh, it's all mine now?
Oh,
Okay,
alright.
no, that's fine.
Just a question that we have, because of course this happens sort of with the next board. Making a bit of an assumption. Tracy's wondering if you are wishing the same kind of process as last year with student out in the four corners. We need to order the wreaths nowish.
That's
Then
what
we'll give you the details post-election.
Do you need a motion? So, no, but, well, we do need a consensus that we want to have the Remembrance Day ceremonies in 4 areas, as we did last year, and with the students from DSAC accompanying us. Trustee Schmidt?
It's respectful.
I'm seeing a few nods. Are there any other comments? Is there anyone concerned just about us moving forward in that way? Okay, so thank you. If you could, Tracy, or
Do that. And lastly, with Remembrance Day, there will be you will receive a list at the November board meeting of all the Remembrance Day ceremonies at schools, in case you would like to attend one.
thank you.
That will be in November.
Thank you. Moving to item B, feedback BCSDA, and on tabletop is a copy of the request that we received from BCSDA asking us the 4 questions regarding the draft MOU that they have prepared. We need to provide feedback. Is there anyone with comments now, or would you prefer to email me and I can put together our response? Email? Okay. Is that acceptable to this side of the table as well? Okay, please email me your comments and I'll put something together. Okay, moving, also connected there was a BCPC feedback, and I'll email that out to you. Moving to item 15, question period. All right, moving to adjournment. Moved by Trustee Schmidt, seconded by Trustee
Seems
Seeger.
fitting somehow.
All those in favor?
Fitting.
And one negative there.